course, began our Surreal Bounce Odyssey, and we were very fixated on creativity and madness and the fine line that exists between the two. We understood that suicide is a part of madness, of mental illness. Mm-hmm. Some of the most creative people in the world have attempted suicide. Right? 1 in 6 people, I think it is, have suicidal tendencies at some point of their life. And it tends to affect those who are extremely creative and are prone to suffering depression or suffer from bipolar syndrome or schizophrenia. We identified Las Vegas as being the suicide capital of the United States for whatever reason. And it wasn't so much because people would lose all their money gambling and then decide they have to end it all. People were just seemingly gravitating to Las Vegas as a place to end their lives. I wrote about this in Surreal Bounce. Yeah, suicide is the 11th cause of death in the United States. And for whatever reason, most of it happens in Las Vegas. If you would like me to read part of what we wrote in Surreal Bounce, from the American Encyclopedia, suicide levels are highest among the unemployed, divorced, the childless, urbanites, and those living alone. Also, more men than women commit suicide, a ratio of 4 to 1. 73% of suicides are white males, and 55% shoot themselves. So be forewarned. If you live alone in a city, you're divorced without children, you recently lost your job, and you are a white male, steer clear of Las Vegas. And more optical audio illusions, interactive movies that fool your mind and senses into believing you're moving forward or backward, but never going anywhere except through another casino. It is the casino carpets that ultimately tip the scale in favor of finito bonsoir. They are all similarly garish. Could this be to conceal tracked-in desert dust or cocktail spillage? Guess again. These disturbing, obnoxious carpets are specially designed by psychologists to repel your eyes so that you cannot look down while you walk without feeling dizzy and disoriented. Studies show that disorientation leads to suggestibility. Instead, you are compelled to look ahead at the slots and gaming tables, which are adorned with flashing lights to grab your attention and haul you in. If you try to beat the system by making yourself look down while you walk, it drives you over the edge. And a gift for paranoid schizophrenics who believe they are watching. Finally, someone is really watching. You don't see policemen along the strip, but that's because the strip does not need policemen. Their sophisticated eye in the sky can track you to Paris and back and record for posterity photos of you picking your nose, although they probably miss Mohammed and Mukhtar from Aladdin, casing New York, New York. The artist is already looking over his shoulder, hissing at invisible surveillance. So, you are already feeling low, and the carpets and everything else get to you, along with trillions of free radicals in your bloodstream from too much fried food. There's a better edge for checking out than Las Vegas, and it's still considered part of the Vegas experience. You know how your whole life is supposed to flash before your eyes when you jump off a building? If you leap into the Grand Canyon, there's time, a full 15 seconds, for all your past lives to flash before you too. You can roll into Vegas, take a final look at Paris, Venice, and New York, do memory lane, ancient Egypt and Rome. For your ancestors' sake, wallow in simulation, then spring 2 sea-bills for an Air Vegas flight over Hoover Dam and Lake Mead to a tiny airstrip on the Grand Canyon's west rim. Wendy the guide welcomes you, and she wants you to board the return flight to Vegas. But even if you tell her your plan, there isn't much you can actually do about it. For not only is there no landline telephone service on the West Rim, there is no cellular service either. Danger lurks everywhere, says Wendy. There are rattlesnakes, scorpions, large hairy spiders, not to mention rotor blades of the helicopter that lowers you a mile down to the canyon floor. A brutal wind shear claims a handful of sightseers every so often. One of these babies crashed 5 weeks ago, the artist whispers. They lose them all the time. At the bottom, a flat boat cruises you along the Colorado River for 20 minutes. Then a return to the rim, where Wendy carts you to a native Indian outpost staffed by Hualapai Nation, who lay on a last supper. An all-you-can-eat buffet of barbecue beef, baked beans, corn, and a warm tortilla. Not only do calories no longer matter, you probably want bulk for a final descent. The artist and I stand at the edge, surveying the awesome panorama and the drop. Ready, I say? Forget suicide, says the artist. This is murder. Murder? Those Indians are trying to murder palefaces with that meal. You're worried about cholesterol? No, flatus. One tail shot and it's over the edge. Geronimo's revenge. I step back. But if I were inclined to check out, it would be here at the Grand Canyon, not a multi-story parking lot in sleazy Vegas. After all, this is your life you're concluding. Why make your last stop in a tacky town built specifically to con everyone out of their money, their mind, their life? Why end it there, when without much further effort or expense, you could fossilize with a 2-billion-year-old wonder of the world? Alas, I'm still here. Everyone considering suicide should stick around too. We all have plenty of time to be dead later.